Do you want to impress your friends at the art gallery? Here's my guide to knowing what art movement an artwork is from just from looking at it. Let's go. If it's got cute babies, it's Baroque. But if it's got ugly babies, it's medieval. If it looks like you need your glasses prescription updated, then it's Impressionism. If it looks like your Tupperware drawer, then it's Cubism. If people look way too long, then it's Mannerism. If it's got happy peasants, it's a Dutch genre painting. And if it's got sad peasants, it's 19th century realism. Hello, I'm Mary McGillivray. I'm an art history communicator from Australia, currently doing my MPhil at Cambridge University, and I'm also a TikToker. That video you just saw of me comparing Cubism to a messy Tupperware drawer has over 3.7 million views on TikTok, and it's one of over 400 videos that I've made about art history and visual culture over the past year. What started as a lockdown hobby for me in 2020 quickly turned into my second job. I grew a following of over 350,000 in under 9 months, and I've had the most amazing opportunities to work with art galleries, museums, and cultural institutions from across Australia, all because of TikTok. TikTok is the world's fastest growing social media platform. Last month, it reached 1 billion active users, a milestone that only Facebook, YouTube, and WeChat have reached before, and over 50% of those billion active users are under the age of 34. But when it comes to museums, galleries, cultural institutions, and heritage sites, this is a largely untapped market. Almost every museum around the world will have a Facebook account, maybe an Instagram account, but very few are on TikTok. Over the past year, I've collaborated with 2 regional art galleries, as well as the Art History Institute of Australia, to create content specifically for TikTok. I've also been observing the museums that are on TikTok, looking at what works, what doesn't work, and why. I'm really passionate about engaging, educational, and thought-provoking content on TikTok, and I want to share what I've learned in the hope to get more museums onto the platform. But in this presentation, you won't just be hearing from me. I've conducted interviews with my fellow creators, my collaborators, and the teams behind some of the world's most successful museum TikTok accounts. I hope their insights can help open up a discussion about the different approaches you can take to tap into the audience of #MuseumTalk.
From what I've found, there's no other museums that have over 1.9 million followers.
This is Jared Jones, and he's the guy behind the most successful museum TikTok account in the world.
July 2020, I posted our first video on TikTok, and I'd like to say it kind of went off. Of course, I would have never thought we would have gotten more than 10,000 followers, but here we are now. The Sacramento History Museum is in the northwest corner of Old Sacramento, one of the largest historic districts west of the Mississippi River. And the museum itself focuses on early Sacramento history and the California Gold Rush.
Just like my TikTok account, the Sacramento History Museum TikTok was inspired by COVID lockdown. With only staff and volunteers on site, Jared started experimenting with TikTok content to varying success. That was until Howard.
Howard was 83, just turned 84. And I said, well, I want to film you for this thing called TikTok. He said, what's TikTok? And I said, it's a new social media app. It's like Facebook, but only videos, short videos, like really short videos, Howard. He said, let me think about it. And I said, Howard, whatever you do, when you think about it, do not go home and look up TikTok. And he said, okay. He comes back and he said, well, we're not doing TikTok. He went on TikTok, and I guess the first things that he saw were some ladies dancing, was about the extent that he could tell me. I said, we're not going to be doing that, obviously. We're just going to be telling authentic, wholesome history. Howard needed to actually ink the press and print something. And I was there that day, and I said, hey, Howard, what are you doing?
Printing wanted posters.
Can you explain a little bit more about it?
Well, I could, but I'm really pressed for time.
Now that video got over 1 million views, just started this huge chain of events that led us to 1.9 million followers today in less than a year of essentially myself actively filming Howard in the print shop.
Howard has become an absolute TikTok phenomenon. Viewers are obsessed with watching him demonstrating in the museum's historic print shop, and they keep coming back for his straightforward and charming presentation style. It's not easy to make viral content on TikTok. Unlike other platforms like Facebook or Instagram, where people will follow their favorite museums and galleries just to stay up to date on news and events, TikTok is a platform oriented around discoverability, not bookmarking. Let's unpack this. The global success of TikTok comes down to two key factors in how the app works. Firstly, it has an addictive, low-resistance feed. The For You page is an endless scroll of short, satisfying videos. There's virtually no menus or tapping around to find content. All you have to do is scroll. The other factor to TikTok's success and growth is its low barrier of entry for content creators. Virtually anyone with a smartphone can make a TikTok, and there's no imperative to make the video look professional. In fact, it's this lo-fi quality that makes TikTok a platform that values authenticity above all else.
I used to read Howard all the comments, and now I kind of stopped because there's just like the barrage of in love with him stuff that I thought his ego was, at least he's swelling a little bit too much. So he's an older gentleman using really old equipment on a new platform. There's nothing that he says in his videos that he wouldn't be saying to the visitor coming in.
Now, Howard might be making it look easy, but the success of Sacramento History Museum's TikTok is down to Jared's incredibly hard work.
I've filmed at least 350 videos for our TikTok account. Since January, I've posted at least a video a day.
TikTok promotes accounts that post frequently and regularly. At one point when I was starting out, I was posting 3 videos a day. Obviously, this is a crazy idea that was only made possible by the fact I was living in lockdown by myself with nothing else to do. But what should you do if you want to get your museum on TikTok, but you're not sure if you have the time, resources, or skills?
I always get very uncomfortable using the word influencer because it feels really weird because I'm just sitting here in my dorm room making random videos. My name's Evan Pridmore. I started on TikTok in August of 2020 because of the pandemic. I had nothing else to do and I wanted to bring sort of queer history to TikTok as a history student.
My name is Rosie. I'm an undergrad art history student and I run the TikTok account, The Royal Wardrobe. Over on TikTok, I talk a lot about fashion history predominantly, a lot about the royal family and their history, but also a lot about English history in general.
So I've been doing that for a little over a year now, and I've been working with a couple of various museums as well. I've worked with the V&A in London, which was amazing. The Mauritshuis, which is in Den Haag, that's where Girl with the Pearl Earring is, and the Rembrandthuis in Amsterdam, and the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam as well.
So the Bristol Old Vic is the oldest continually working theatre in the English-speaking world. It opened in 1765. I grew up in Bristol, and so it had always been a place that I knew of. I visited quite a lot growing up. I circled back to the Bristol Old Vic a couple months ago. I started digging around in their history, their archives, and started pulling out really interesting stories. And they allowed me to come into the building to talk to the members of the heritage team and put some of their content on TikTok.
These are my friends and fellow creators, Evan and Rosie, and I met them through TikTok. Like them, I've also had amazing opportunities to work with museums. In 2020, I was contacted by Rowena Wiseman from the Mornington Peninsula Regional Gallery in Victoria, Australia. She had seen my videos on TikTok and realised that I only lived an hour and a half away from Mornington, so she offered to commission me.
I went to our director and said, what do you think about launching a TikTok account?
Over the following months, I made several trips down to the gallery and made them a total of 18 videos highlighting stories and artworks from their collection.
We wanted to present a young person, but we liked the idea of having like an outsider come in and to look at the collection, to put their spin on it.
Through this collab, I was able to take viewers behind the scenes and show them a part of the gallery that they wouldn't normally get to see. Our most successful video reached 79,000 views and sparked a hot debate in the comments about a controversial artwork. Since then, I've had the opportunity to put my spin on another gallery's exhibition, but this time on my own account.
So my name is Chloe Waters, and I am the adjunct curator of the Coffs Harbour Regional Art Gallery and Museum. You had an incredible archive of videos that you've done and content that you've made. And yeah, that just seemed logical to tap into that, to be able to, be like, hey, can we actually pay you to do what you're really good at, and we can work together on it.
Coffs Harbour Regional Art Gallery and Museum hosts the National Still Life Award every year. Over several months, Chloe and I collaborated on scripts for 10 TikToks highlighting finalists in the show. Like all TikToks, they varied in view count, but our standout was one episode which reached 1 million views.
Interesting that the most popular one has been one of the works that just so happens to have been planted right at the start of the gallery. And I think it's the kind of work that you might have walked past as a visitor, because it's not necessarily the largest or brightest or something, but on TikTok, it's had a completely different life. Our team is thrilled. I think it's gone beyond, in so many ways, what we could have hoped for. It's sure, we could have had it on our own channel, but there's no way we would have had the engagement that we have had, particularly here.
The V&A doesn't even have 10,000 followers on TikTok, and I've got 280,000. If you have other creators do it, it shows a more, I would say, nuanced view of the museum as well, and it gives you different perspectives, and again, takes away the whole idea that museums are supposed to be revered and sacred.
A lot of museums, they're not quite sure how to translate their content, what they've been doing on other social media platforms onto TikTok, because it is very different. On Instagram, you can post a photo of something and then you can give the information in the description, which isn't too different from what might already exist on their website, for example. So it's really easy to translate. Whereas on TikTok, where it's you've got to create a video and you've got to kind of capture people's attention in a very different way, having a person that's the one giving information, having a face as opposed to just kind of words on a screen or information on a screen, that's the key difference.
Whether you have a Howard, an Evan, or a Rosie, one of the most important keys to success on TikTok for museums, galleries, and cultural institutions is personality. TikTok might be known for short attention spans and fast videos, but it's actually the relationships you build with an audience over time that matters. Having a person that viewers connect with and can recognize the next time they see them on their For You page is really important. And collaborating with existing creators who have already spent the time building that rapport and those skills can be a really successful way to get your institution on TikTok. TikTok is an international platform and your content will be viewed around the world.
The majority of my followers are American, they're from the States, but the majority of people interacting with the old Vic videos were from the UK.
Sometimes if the topic of a video is particularly tied to a place or city, the TikTok algorithm will target locals with your content, but there's no guarantee of this. But creating or commissioning content for TikTok isn't just about the views on the app. It can also generate a lot of really good news and press opportunities, which can be really valuable, especially for the smaller local or regional museums.
So the Sacramento History Museum was a largely unknown museum in Sacramento. We've been here since 1985, and most people didn't even know we existed.
What the TikTok channel's done for us really well is we've had recognition from the industry. Public Gallery Association of Victoria has taken an interest in it, Creative Victoria.
If people haven't actually watched us on TikTok, they know about us now because of media coverage surrounding TikTok. We were featured on every local news when we reached 300,000 and also when we reached 1 million.
My collaboration with Coffs Harbour Regional Gallery made the local news too. And because of my work on TikTok, I've been featured on national radio, national newspapers, and in countless online articles. Recognition from your community is an amazing side effect of going viral on TikTok, and for some museums, it's actually translated into real-world visitors. Emily from Black Country Living Museum, who have 1.3 million TikTok followers, told me that during a school break in May this year, around 25% of their visitors cited TikTok as the reason for attending.
So children are watching us, and we've had families come in that they are visiting the museum because their child said they have to go to the museum because they saw us on TikTok. That's the complete other way around.
What I really like seeing was people like really engaging with the things that I was talking about, and not just seeing it as like an advert for the old Vic, like interesting them and keeping them engaged.
I think the audience on TikTok is very wary of anything that seems like it's advertising.
It was just really fun because I was basically able to do whatever I liked. There wasn't really anything that was super off limits to me, which I think is really good because museums want to show a more accurate view of what it is.
Authenticity is the most important thing on TikTok. And while some museums, as we've seen, are very, very successful at conveying an authentic and engaging personality on TikTok, it's very easy for many to slip too far into marketing voice. I myself have fallen victim to this. I recently made a promotional video for the National Gallery of Victoria's Impressionist exhibition, and although it was my voice, my jokes, my presentation, it kind of tanked. The video had a very clear marketing message: come to this exhibition. And in all honesty, I don't think it felt as authentic as my other content, which isn't explicitly trying to sell anyone anything. Museum marketing on TikTok needs to be subtle. As Emily from Black Country Living Museum told me, it can be hard to appeal authentic as a creator while actively marketing your brand. As such, we've found that a mix of educational and entertaining content can be used to push the narrative of museum as an educational establishment, as well as museum as a fun visitor attraction. And this tends to advertise what we do in a more covert manner.
I've always found TikTok to be throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. I never want to have anything that is an in-your-face ad promo to buy something, but certainly start the conversation. Just having people watch your videos and then start to follow you on your other channels. You're gonna get people from TikTok to follow you on Instagram or Facebook, where then you can promote your actual events that are happening. Reaching new people will always be a success, and it's always going to be worth your time.
I asked everyone I interviewed what advice they would give to anyone considering taking the dive into TikTok. Here's what they said.
I've had a couple of people come to me in council saying, we want to do a TikTok channel like yours. But the first thing I ask is, are you on TikTok? And they're like, no.
It has a very specific feel to it, and if you're not aware of what the rest of the content on TikTok is like, and I'm not just talking about other museum content, but just content in general, the content you create is going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Once you're on TikTok and you go back to Facebook or Instagram, it seems so boring.
It's definitely something that I feel would be more welcoming to people, being able to see that museum workers are also down to earth and actual people, and that these places aren't just like sanctity or like revered halls that you aren't allowed to goof around in.
Trust your content maker if you're going to engage someone else. I want people to come to the gallery. I want them to engage with the works. And I think that what we put online is in and of itself a different experience to with what you see in person or visiting something in person.
Look at what you have in your museum or institution. You have a lot of great, interesting stuff that you find interesting. There's probably other people that are going to find it interesting too. I would say the biggest thing is, why would you not give TikTok a shot?
Thank you for watching this presentation, and a huge thank you to Rosie Harte, Jared Jones, Evan Pridmore, Emily Smith, Rowena Wiseman, and Chloe Waters. If you have any questions about museums on TikTok, you can get in touch with me via my website, marymcgillivray.com.au. I'd love to chat.